What separates an ordinary archaeological discovery from one that truly stuns us? What takes a find from merely curious to downright captivating? Is it the historical secrets it reveals, its rarity, or that hard-to-pin-down sense of wonder? Well, we don't have a clear answer, but we always recognize it when it shows up. Every single discovery you're about to see fits that bill, and we're betting you'll think so too. Here are the 15 most amazing archaeological artifact finds. Number 15. Bone knife. Nearly 1,000,000 years ago, someone shaped a rib bone into a knife and left it behind in what is now Dar es Sultan I cave in Morocco. Unlike the stone tools the Assyrian culture is known for, this bone knife is something different, older, rarer, and much more personal. It was carved from the rib of a large animal, possibly for a specific purpose, possibly just because bone was more accessible than stone. Its unique shape and finish suggest it wasn't just improvised. It was crafted with skill, foresight, and a level of cognitive sophistication that challenges what we often assume about early humans in North Africa. Similar bone tools have turned up elsewhere in Africa, but the style of this one stands apart, indicating it came from a different group entirely. Whether this knife was used in daily tasks or rituals isn't clear, but what is clear is that its creator wasn't just surviving, they were innovating, and that changes how we view the people of that era. Number 14. Snail Badge. In 2020, archaeologists working near Pontefract in Yorkshire uncovered a tiny silver badge from the 13th century that's as ridiculous as it is revealing. The badge shows a knight awkwardly crawling out of a snail shell, which itself is perched atop a goat. This wasn't a religious token or noble crest, it was satire. Back then, snails symbolized cowardice, and this badge was probably mocking someone who ran from a fight or didn't live up to expectations. It's essentially medieval comedy, passed hand to hand like a joke sticker or meme. Historians suspect it targeted the nobility or an enemy who failed to show bravery. Mass-produced and circulated for laughs, it reminds us that even centuries ago, people had sarcasm, inside jokes, and maybe a few gripes with the elite. That blend of humor and social critique is timeless. Whoever made it wasn't just a craftsman, they were a comedian with silver as their medium. We mean, just look at that. Number 13. Sarcophagus. In the quiet hills near Palani, India, something remarkable happened, and not once, but twice. The first sarcophagus was found in the 1870s by British archaeologist Alexander Rhea, and for more than a century, it stood as a singular artifact. But in 2018, another nearly identical one was unearthed in the exact same region. This second clay sarcophagus, preserved in excellent condition, has forced archaeologists to revisit their assumptions. Estimated to be over 2,300 years old, its presence suggests the ancient community here didn't just pass through, they stayed. They had a burial tradition, complete with red ware lids, and distinct structural legs beneath each sarcophagus. The design raises questions: why place legs under something meant to be buried? No clear answer yet, but it hints at symbolic or cultural significance. With 2 sarcophagi now confirmed, researchers believe there may be many more buried in the hills. Far from being nomadic wanderers, the people of this region likely lived and died here, leaving behind clues to a culture that's only beginning to be understood. Alright guys, now let's move to number 12. Magic shoe. In August 2016, while rewiring the second court building at Cambridge University, workers stumbled across something strange tucked behind an old wall, a single weathered leather shoe. At first glance, it didn't seem like much, but this wasn't just lost property, it was a deliberate placement, likely part of a centuries-old folk tradition. Dated to the late 1600s, the shoe was hidden during renovations to a building originally completed in 1598. Back then, England was steeped in superstition, and hiding objects like shoes, cats, or bottles of urine was believed to protect homes from evil spirits. The shoe had probably been placed behind the paneling to serve as a charm, silently guarding against misfortune. Though the exact belief behind it remains unclear, similar finds have occurred across the UK in old homes and churches. Rather than remove it, the team respectfully returned the shoe to its original spot before sealing the wall once more, preserving a quiet, superstitious gesture from a very different time. Number 11. Marking rock. In 2012, a deeply marked stone turned up at the Paleolithic site of Shuidonggo in northwestern China, and it's unlike anything found there before. Believed to be the oldest hand-graved non-organic object in the country, this artifact breaks new ground. While older marked stones exist, many are dismissed as accidental damage. This one leaves little doubt. It features evenly spaced, deliberate straight lines carved with purpose, and that has experts rethinking early cognitive abilities. Some speculate the marks could represent counting or some primitive form of communication. If that holds, it suggests whoever carved it may have possessed not just basic organization, but the early roots of language. The big question remains, who made it? Some propose migrants from the Altai Mountains, while others suggest it was crafted by native populations of northern China. Either way, it's not just a scratched rock. It's a quiet message from tens of thousands of years ago, preserved in stone and waiting to be fully understood. Number 10. Ancient bone spoons. In early 2020, archaeologists working near the Igi River in the bogged Uul region of Mongolia unearthed a set of Neolithic-era bone spoons alongside a 7,500-year-old knife. These spoons, carved from animal bone, offer insight into evolving eating habits. Unlike stone or wood tools from the same period, these bone spoons hint at a shift toward cooked and prepared meals. Their emergence likely reflects broader changes in dietary practices during the Neolithic period, when humans moved away from raw foods and began incorporating soups, porridges, and stews into their daily routines. Though other materials were available, the use of bone might suggest a practical adaptation to local conditions or simply cultural preference. While spoons are among today's most basic utensils, their invention required both innovation and a change in how people approached food. These early tools mark a quiet turning point in our development, where survival became shaped not just by necessity, but by evolving customs and shared rituals around meals. Number 9. Roman glass jug. During the early stages of a theater construction project in Doncaster in 2011, a rare Roman artifact brought everything to a halt. Hidden beneath layers of earth was a remarkably well-preserved glass jug, likely crafted around the year 150 CE. While it might resemble a decorative household item, archaeologists believe it served a funerary purpose. The site was once part of a Roman cemetery where cremations were common. It's likely the jug held oil or perfume and was placed alongside the ashes of someone of high status. Deliberate breakage around the neck supports this idea. Such damage was part of burial rituals, symbolizing finality or release. Although York is often considered the center of Roman Britain, evidence now shows Roman activity in Doncaster predates it. The find also led to the discovery of more Roman items in the surrounding area. What began as a local construction effort became an unexpected look into a deeply rooted Roman presence in a place few expected. They were normal people like us. Number 8. Bronze Age hordes. In August 2021, French archaeologists working in the Department of Aller made a rare and groundbreaking find: 2 ritual Bronze Age hordes buried with extraordinary care. Each deposit was arranged methodically, jewelry placed at the base, tools like axes and sickles on top, and hundreds of smooth, colored pebbles layered between. No similar pattern has been recorded in European archaeology. The site, first identified in 2019 by Pierre-Yves Milcent, appears to have been part of a large Bronze Age settlement nearly 2,800 years ago. The objects recovered include spearheads, daggers, harness fittings, chariot parts, and intricately decorated belts, ankle rings, and pendants. What sets these hoards apart isn't just the variety, it's the sense of purpose. These items weren't discarded, they were curated and buried with intention. The presence of personal adornments, along with symbols of warfare and transportation, suggests a community deeply invested in both ritual and technology. The discovery reshapes how we understand Bronze Age life in this region, structured, artistic, and far more complex than previously thought. Number 7. Bronze Weapons Cache. When a collection of 3,000-year-old weapons surfaced near the ancient Iron Age ruins in Adam, Oman, it raised more questions than answers. The site revealed an array of bronze weapons, bows, axes, daggers, but their size and construction seem off. Many believe they weren't made for battle but instead served a ceremonial or symbolic role. The bronze craftsmanship is impressive, yet certain details, like the unusually short quivers just 14 inches long, suggest they were impractical for real use. That, along with markings indicating they were once displayed, points to the possibility they were either for ritual purposes or perhaps even crafted as children's training items. Still, the fact that they were stored carefully inside a fortified building implies significance. Whether symbolic, instructional, or commemorative, these objects speak to a society that placed value not just on war, but on preserving its tools in meaningful ways. Their discovery opens the door to understanding how warfare and symbolism overlapped in Iron Age Arabia. Number 6. Naval Battering Ram. Back in 1964, a bronze naval ram surfaced off the coast near Berenice, not far from ancient Tabit. This wasn't a weapon for land assaults. It came from a Greek or Roman warship, once mounted at the prow and used to smash into enemy hulls. Before advanced weaponry, this was naval warfare at its most direct, slam into your opponent before they did it to you. Known as the Belgium ram, the artifact was preserved with fragments of charred wood inside. That detail allowed experts to narrow down its age. The bronze showed signs of having been reheated to extreme temperatures long after it was made, likely from the ship catching fire as it sank. Crafting a solid bronze structure of this size would have required tremendous effort and resources. Its survival under the sea for centuries is almost as remarkable as the fact that it was ever built at all. It represents a rare moment when ancient engineering, warfare, and sheer brute force all collided, literally. Number 6. Sila Sword. In 2013, researchers revisited a long-known artifact from the Golden Crown tomb in Gyeongju, South Korea, and saw something they'd missed for nearly a century, an inscription naming a king. The tomb was unearthed during a construction project in the 1920s, but only much later did anyone closely examine the sword found within. The sheath bears the name King Isaji, an unexpected revelation since that name appears nowhere in the Samguk Sagi or Samguk Yusa, the two main records of Silla history. The tomb dates to the 6th century, and the sword's inscription changes everything. Until then, no other royal tomb in the region had a confirmed identity. Now scholars are split. Either King Isaji has been completely overlooked by historical texts, or the title king held a broader, perhaps honorary, meaning during that era. Whichever it is, the find casts doubt on centuries of historical assumptions and brings fresh urgency to re-examine what we think we know about the Silla dynasty. Alright guys, now let's head over to Number 4. Silver Gilt Bowl. Unearthed in Yudin in late 2013, this ornate silver bowl instantly stood out, not just for its craftsmanship but for what it implies about the people who once lived there. Decorated with gold-plated animal and plant motifs and inlaid with precious stones, it likely belonged to a wealthy elite class with far-reaching connections. Estimated to date back to the early 7th century, its sophistication hints at more than just affluence. It signals status, ritual, and perhaps even diplomatic exchange. Bronze was more typical for the time, which makes this silver piece all the more significant. Archaeologists believe it was buried deliberately, likely as part of a ceremonial act. Before its discovery, it was assumed the region was home to simple farming communities with limited reach. But this bowl, unique in Dutch archaeology, suggests otherwise. It adds depth to the area's history and is now held by the province of South Holland, though displayed at the Dutch National Museum. It's one artifact that rewrites the local past with unmistakable clarity. Number 3. Roman Port. In 2021, archaeologists found what may be the remains of a Roman port in northern England, near a river where a Roman-era dam had already been documented. The discovery includes stone anchors and sharpening tools, remarkable finds considering anchors are rarely located inland and are usually linked to maritime sites. If confirmed, it would be only the second known port of its kind in Britain and the first time such anchors have been found in a river. Experts believe this site could have supported Roman military logistics during their campaign against the Brigantes tribe. The presence of forts upstream at Benwell and Chester-le-Street strengthens that theory. Adding more intrigue is a small model boat unearthed nearby, possibly representing the actual vessels that once navigated the river to transport supplies. The idea that this river once served as a critical supply route adds another dimension to our understanding of Roman infrastructure in Britain. What started as a modest dig is now rewriting a chapter of Roman logistics history. Number 2. Neolithic stone masks. From the slopes of the Judean hills in Israel comes a collection of stone masks that stare back with unsettling intensity. Crafted by Neolithic people around 9,000 years ago, these masks are among the oldest known representations of human faces. Each one is distinct, different features, different expressions, suggesting they may have been modeled after specific individuals. There's a haunting skull-like quality to them, leading some to believe they were made to honor the dead. Small holes on the sides may have been used to tie the masks around the head or possibly to attach hair, enhancing the lifelike effect. Some masks show signs of age or youth, hinting at a deeply personal significance. Were they ceremonial, worn during rituals to communicate with the spirit world? No one can say for certain. What's clear is that these masks weren't random creations. They carried meaning now lost, that once tied the living to the dead, the physical to the spiritual, and the present to a past that no longer explains itself. Number 1. The Boxwood Miniatures. 5 centuries ago, someone, or perhaps just one extraordinary individual, crafted a series of tiny, intricate carvings out of boxwood that continue to baffle experts today. These miniatures depict complex religious scenes, layered with stunning detail, all inside pieces no larger than a small fruit. At the time, they were considered prized possessions. Even King Henry VII reportedly carried one with him. Then, mysteriously, they vanished from public use. Only 135 have ever been found. In 2016, the Metropolitan Museum of Art analyzed 30 of them. What they found was mind-bending. Each was made by slicing boxwood into paper-thin discs, carving each layer with microscopic precision, and then reassembling them seamlessly. No visible joins, no obvious assembly method. The boxwood came from Belgium, and based on the techniques and consistency, researchers believe most of them were likely made by the same hand. Despite modern tools, no one's been able to fully replicate the craftsmanship. They remain not just masterpieces of devotion, but of human capability at its most exact. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.